The domain which I am familiar with is the Surya Siddhanta. Even to think that your Earth is a sphere, it has a diameter, it has a circumference. I think all these thoughts that happened there that time, it didn't stay here. It traveled all the way through the Arabic travelers. It went to Europe, and thousands of years later, the knowledge came back to us in the form of discovery by the great scientists of the Western world. I come from a domain of science and technology. I am a rocket scientist. I have been building rockets. So when I look at this journey of language in Sanskrit and the rocket science, the aeronautics that connects them, I'm really fascinated many a times by the work of great scholars and that they have created such great books. The very first book which I come across in Sanskrit, which talks about the domain which I am familiar with, is the Surya Siddhanta. Many of you would have known about this book. And this is the book specifically talks about the solar system, the sun, the planets, and how the planets move around the sun, the periodicity of this movement, the time scales which are involved, the size of this, the whole structure, even the size of the earth. Even to think that your earth is a sphere, it has a diameter, it has a circumference. I think all these thoughts that happened there that time, it didn't stay here. It traveled all the way through the Arabic travelers. It went to Europe, and thousands of years later, the knowledge came back to us in the form of discovery by the great scientists of the Western world. Though it was all found out here, it was written down in this language, and today we know that it has been created. Varaha Mihira, through his Pancha Siddhanta, we know much about it today. Laghada, in the 1500 year BC, he has created the Vedanga Jyotisha. Aryabhata's work 1, Varaha Mihira's works, Bhaskara 1 and 2, Brahmagupta, it created the Brahmasputa Siddhanta, again a scientific work. Parameshwara and many others in Kerala, where I am coming from, wrote the Goladipika, which is again a very interesting book on astronomy. You know that many of the literature written in terms of the ideas like zero. If you subtract 1 from the 1, you get 0, Shunya, the concept of Shunya. And equally important is the concept of infinity. I think both of these are the findings of those great rishis, expressed in very beautiful poetic ways. Even you know the algebra, the concept, the mathematical concepts called algebra, the square root of numbers, very precisely expressed. Even Bodhayana equated to Pythagoras theorem. You know, Bodhayana was living in during 800 BC. Pythagoras came much later. And he expressed that for a right angle triangle, how the connections between sides are expressed beautifully in the concept of areas. Though he was not talking about square, but he was talking about areas. It's exactly the same theorem of Pythagoras, expressed in beautifully in Sanskrit in 2 sentences. You can read that and understand the beauty of it.